At 75 years old, Stan Hansen has finally confirmed the rumors about his past. That infamous lariat, the belt he ran over, the eye that popped out of Vader's face. Let's talk about all of it. Stan Hansen was different. While other wrestlers pulled their punches, Hansen hit for real. His strikes hurt. His slams were stiff, and everyone knew it. Hansen had poor eyesight. He said if he tried to pull his punches, he would miss. This would expose wrestling as fake, so he chose to hit hard instead. Every time. This wasn't just an excuse. It was his philosophy. Wrestling in Hansen's era was about protecting the illusion. Fans had to believe it was real. Hansen thought soft strikes would ruin that belief, so he chose real contact over safety. This made Hansen feared. Other wrestlers got tired of being hit so hard. Long tours with Hansen were brutal, but Hansen was protected by management. He was a big draw, so everyone had to deal with it. Fellow wrestlers called Hansen office. This meant he had pull with promoters. It meant complaining about him was risky. This power dynamic made Hansen even more problematic for other wrestlers. Let's start with the biggest controversy. On April 26, 1976, Stan Hansen broke Bruno Sammartino's neck. Or did he? Hansen was new to the WWF. He had only been there 2 months, but they put him right into a title match with Bruno Sammartino. During the match, Sammartino's neck snapped. Everyone said Hansen's lariat caused it. The promoters loved this story. It made Hansen look like a monster. But here's the truth Hansen confirms now. The lariat didn't break Bruno's neck. It was a botched power slam that did it. Sammartino broke his 6th cervical vertebrae. He came within 1 millimeter of being paralyzed. Doctors didn't want to let him leave the hospital. Hansen felt terrible. He apologized over and over. Sammartino was professional about it. He told Hansen it was just an accident, part of the business. But Sammartino also joked with Hansen later. He said every morning, Hansen had to look in the mirror and remember that a Texan did this and got away with it. The promoters didn't care about the real cause. They used this accident to build Hansen's reputation. When he went to Japan in 1977, he was marketed as the man who broke Bruno's neck. This lie became Hansen's foundation. It made him a top heel in Japan right away. The injury was real, but the story was fake. Vince McMahon Sr. personally booked Hansen in Japan using this reputation. The incident shows how wrestling turns accidents into storylines. A botched move became Hansen's calling card. Real danger became fake mythology, but it worked. Hansen became a star because of it. 10 years later, Hansen would prove his independence again. In December 1985, he won the AWA World Championship. He beat Rick Martel for the title. This was huge. Hansen held both the AWA and PWF world titles at the same time. Very few wrestlers ever did this. But on June 29, 1986, the AWA stripped Hansen of their title. He was supposed to lose it to Nick Bockwinkel that night. Hansen refused. Why did he refuse? Loyalty. Hansen was loyal to Giant Baba and All Japan Pro Wrestling. Baba had already advertised Hansen as AWA champion for shows in Japan. Hansen didn't want to hurt Japan or go against Baba's plans. Hansen felt deeply involved in Baba's business. This wasn't just about wrestling. It was about friendship and respect. Hansen had found a home in Japan that he never had in America. Hansen was in the building that night. AWA promoter Werner Gagne told him he was losing the belt. Hansen said no and walked away. This took incredible courage. Most wrestlers would have done what they were told. The AWA stripped him of the title, but Hansen still had the physical belt. The AWA threatened to sue if he kept calling himself champion. Hansen's response was legendary. He ran over the championship belt with his truck. Then he mailed it back to the AWA with mud tracks still on it. Years later, Hansen said he regretted how he returned the belt, but he didn't regret the decision to keep it. His loyalty to Japan was more important. The damaged belt was eventually sold to a Japanese collector. Hansen's act of defiance became wrestling legend. 4 years later, Hansen created another legend, but this one was gruesome. In 1990, Hansen faced Big Van Vader in New Japan Pro Wrestling. The match was violent from the start. Hansen accidentally broke Vader's nose with his cowbell before the bell even rang. Both men were angry. They traded the hardest shots of their careers. Hansen's poor eyesight made every strike dangerous. Then it happened. Hansen threw a hard left hand. His thumb caught Vader in the eye. Vader's eyeball popped completely out of its socket. Most wrestlers would stop the match. Not Vader. He pushed his own eye back into his head. Then he kept wrestling for 15 more minutes. The match ended in a double count out. Vader's eye was swollen shut and completely black and blue, but he finished the match. This incident made both men legends. Hansen for his dangerous power, Vader for his incredible toughness. The wrestling world had never seen anything like it. The incident also showed the extreme risks of Hansen's style. This wasn't just stiff work anymore. This was genuinely dangerous. But both men embraced it as part of their craft. Later that same year, Hansen faced another test of his principles. He returned to American wrestling after 4 years away. WCW signed him and put him at the top of the card right away. Hansen even beat Lex Luger for the NWA United States title at Halloween Havoc. Things were going well, but WCW wanted to change direction. Manager Jim Herd wanted more comedy, more gimmicks. He was trying to copy the WWF's cartoon style. Herd created a stable called the Desperados. They were supposed to be bumbling cowboys, comedy characters. WCW wanted Hansen to join the Desperados. Hansen was insulted. He had spent years building a fearsome reputation in Japan. A comedy gimmick would destroy all of that. Hansen refused. When WCW insisted, he quit. He walked away from a major American promotion rather than damage his credibility. This was only possible because of Japan. Hansen made good money there. He was respected there. He didn't need WCW. Hansen had chances to work full-time for top American companies. He could have feuded with Hulk Hogan in the WWF, but he chose to stay loyal to Japan instead. He also wanted to be home with his family. Hansen called himself Mr. Mom when not on overseas tours. His children knew him as a father first. Wrestling was his job, not his identity at home. All of these controversies built Hansen's legend. But what was the final result? Hansen became the most successful foreign wrestler in Japanese history. He won multiple PWF World Championships. He won the AJPW Triple Crown 4 times. He won tag team titles with legends like Bruiser Brody, Ted DiBiase, and Terry Gordy. Japanese fans still love Hansen decades after he retired. They respected his honesty, his toughness, his commitment to giving everything in every match. In 2016, WWE inducted Hansen into their Hall of Fame. The person who inducted him? Big Van Vader, the same man whose eye Hansen knocked out. This was powerful. If Vader could forgive and honor Hansen, then Hansen's style was legitimate. It wasn't malicious. It was just part of his craft. Hansen retired in 2000 due to head and neck injuries. He needed surgery on his shoulders and knees. A cyst on his spine was removed. These days, Hansen lives quietly. He calls himself a cheerful grandpa. His children knew him as a father, not a wrestler. He was Mr. Mom when not touring overseas. Hansen wrote an autobiography called The Last Outlaw. The title says everything about his career philosophy. He did things his own way. He didn't bow to promoters or follow trends. He doesn't follow modern wrestling much. He thinks today's wrestlers are carbon copies. He prefers to remember the great characters and talent of his era. Hansen's legacy is confirmed now. He really was that aggressive, that loyal, that different. His poor eyesight wasn't an excuse. His stiff style wasn't an accident. It was his choice. He chose realism over safety, loyalty over money, integrity over popularity. In an era of characters, Hansen was real. The controversies that could have destroyed other careers made Hansen a legend. The Bruno injury gave him his reputation. The AWA incident proved his independence. The Vader match showed his danger. Walking away from WCW protected his brand. These weren't random accidents. They were the result of Hansen's uncompromising approach to wrestling and life. At 75, Hansen has nothing left to prove. His place in wrestling history is secure. Japan still reveres him. WWE honored him. His peers respect him. The rumors were true. Stan Hansen was exactly who he appeared to be. The last outlaw in a business that was becoming corporate. A cowboy who did things his way until the very end. That's Hansen's final confirmation. He was real when others were fake, loyal when others were selfish, tough when others were soft, and legendary because of all of it.